The gigantic Juice World event and Chapter 6 is launching this weekend, but when can you actually jump in and play, and what's it looking like? We have a whole bunch of crazy announcements from Fortnite, including massive map changes, new biomes, new mechanics like swinging and laying down. We have some leaks of some insane weapons like Mythics. They're going to have their own elemental abilities. There's a lot to talk about. I want to break down all of the official releases from Fortnite and all the different leaks to get you guys excited for Chapter 6. There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. Now, before we talk about what's actually going to be in the new season, when can you get in and play the new season? Because it's a little bit confusing and I'm seeing a lot of people get it wrong. So firstly, the event, the Juice World event, the gigantic concert, the end of chapter event is going to open so you can start to queue into the game mode at 1:20 p.m. on November 30th. That doesn't mean the event's going to start at this time. I'm guessing that it's going to start probably on the hour and they're trying to get people in early. Leakers are saying the event is probably going to last for up to 30 minutes. It's going to be a very long event. Apparently it's going to be crazy. Then do we go into downtime? No, and that is where people are getting very confused. This is the end of chapter event, but we're not going from the event straight into downtime, which kind of throws everything off. It looks like the game is still going to be playable for another 8 hours or so, where they're going to rerun the event every so often so people can experience it, and then the servers go down. The servers will probably go down for their usual like 4 or 5 hours, so you'll be able to jump back in and play the game at roughly about 3 a.m. on the 1st of December ET. I'll get my editor to put different times on the screen here if it helps you, but just so you guys know, we're not going from the event straight into downtime, so the new season isn't going to launch any earlier. It'll launch at the very early hours of the morning for the Americans at its usual time on the 1st. Now, obviously, downtime could be shorter, it could be longer, there could be a glitch, something could go wrong, but I just want to make sure people know that we aren't going from the Juice World event straight into downtime. Fortnite has said that the event will be replayed throughout the day, and if you go into Fortnite and you check the battle pass, it says that it's going to end at 10 p.m. ET on the 30th, which means the game will still most likely be playable up until that time. Are you trying to improve at Fortnite, but you just don't know where to begin? You're watching YouTube guys, you're practicing your mechanics, but you just don't know what's going wrong. Well, that's where the sponsor of today's video, Blitz, comes in. All you have to do is download the Blitz app and run it on the background of your PC. It'll break down all of your stats like damage done, damage taken, headshot ratio, and it'll even do this per weapon, so you can figure out which weapons you need to improve on. Not only that, it'll then compare it to other players of different ranks or even the pros, so you really know what you need to work on. It also has a bunch of useful tools like finding the best drop spot. We have a whole bunch of new updates coming out, and when the map changes, you might not know where's the best new drop. There might be a new chest, a new location. That's where Blitz comes in. You can check where all of this loot is and try to figure out the best loot path. Maybe you're a little bit further down the line in progression. You're playing in tournaments and you're worrying about Storm Surge. Blitz can even keep track of how much damage you and your teammate have done, so you can keep track of how you're looking on Storm Surge. You can even see your teammates' loadouts if you need to figure out how many meds they're carrying, or you're a little bit panicked in endgame and you need to know if they have a med kit. Blitz will also work on a whole bunch of your other favorite games like Deadlock, Apex Legends, and Valorant. Download the Blitz desktop app for PC, try it out using my link in the description down below. Now, let's kick off talking about what's actually going to be in the new season. We have the new season codename Hunters. It looks insanely awesome. It is going to be a Japanese themed season. I know what you're thinking about, Aussie. Didn't we already have a Japanese themed season? Kind of. We had Mega City and we had that kind of futuristic Neo Tokyo vibe. We're not getting that. We're getting like old school Japan, like samurai. So it's looking really, really cool. We have a couple of official releases from Fortnite I want to talk about first. Then we'll break down some of the leaks that have come out from the leakers. So the first one that got posted was this image here by Epic Games. And yes, very clearly you can see Godzilla in the background, which we don't know if he's going to be a boss just yet, whether it's going to be a skin, whether it's going to be both. It looks crazy cool. And this whole theme, this whole aesthetic for the season has me so excited. Obviously, just seeing skins and the aesthetic doesn't really, do that much for you. I thought the chapter 4 season 2, was it? The ancient Greek god season was going to be super cool just based on that theme. Didn't really live up to the potential in my opinion, but this one has me super excited. Now, we have another image from Fortnite that they officially posted as well, which gives a little bit more of like what the gameplay is going to look like. We can see a new assault rifle being held by the character on the right. We can see a sword here that might be a weapon. It might be a pickaxe. I'm guessing they are going to have some kind of samurai sword weapon. There is no way we have like an ancient Japan season there's not a samurai sword weapon. I don't think it's going to be the kinetic katana blade we've already had. Usually when they do new chapters, especially the first season of a new chapter, they like to have entirely new weapons. I think Fortnite is very aware of the fact that a lot of games out there will release like, a second version of their game or a new chapter or a huge thing, and it doesn't feel that different. They're very conscious of trying to make sure it's a new chapter, not just a new season. So I think we will get some kind of a melee katana style weapon. I don't think it'll be the kinetic blade. Now, if you look at the actual how the map is gonna look, these POIs look really, really cool. We're getting what looks kind of more like a modernized Tokyo in the background. Not quite mega city, but it's not quite as ancient as what some of these other POIs look like. We also have Godzilla in the background next to a gigantic bridge. Don't really know if that's just like an angling thing or whether there's gonna be something on the map that is as tall as Godzilla, which seems a little bit weird. I'm loving this ancient turtle that looks like it's just gonna be such a cool vibe of a drop spot. There are some leaks that I'll talk about in a little bit for an entirely new biome that we're getting that is gonna be very dependent on the time of day. Outside of this, the other Fortnite official releases have all been around the event and Juice WRLD and things like that. These are really the only main images we have of exactly what's going on with the new season. As far as map changes, we obviously have the stuff I've already talked about from the official teasers, but we do have a few leaks as well. Hypex talked about how we're gonna have this new area of the map that is gonna change based on a day and night cycle. So Hypex said there'll be a forest area slash biome that has a new day night mechanic where it spawns different animals or NPCs based on the time of day. I think this is gonna be very, very cool. It'll make the map feel constantly dynamic. We have had like, the day and night change throughout the day on the map. Some maps this feels even worse where like it goes into nighttime and you can't see anything, but it's never really done much to the actual map other than the aesthetic. Having the time of day actually impact the game could be really, really cool. There's a really strong NPC boss, it only spawns at night. Or maybe there's like an animal you need to take down to get some kind of material from it or get some kind of buff from it, and it's only there during the day. This could add a lot of fun, a lot of skill to the game that I think would be super, super interesting. It's that kind of mechanic that Fortnite likes to add with new chapters because it's different and something they haven't done before. I am a little bit concerned, as always, whenever they talk about day and night for my console players. Luckily, I play on PC, but I know how it feels on console when you have graphics turn up to max, you can't turn down the shadows, and anytime it's nighttime, you just can't see anything. So I'm a little bit concerned to see how this goes. I don't really like when there's an area of the map that's so dark that I know console players just are at a disadvantage by fighting in that area. Let alone if the area has a whole bunch of particle effects and things like we had in the jungle biome in chapter 4 that just made consoles basically die. We'll have to see, but I think the concept of a POI or a biome that adapts based on the time of day and you have to get there at the right time is a really, really cool concept. Another leak from Hypex was the fact that the giant turtle I was talking about earlier from the official release will actually move around the map. He said it's unknown if it's live or between matches or from date to another. So it might be on one area of the map for like a week and then it moves, or maybe game on game it's different, like when we had the rotating boat, or maybe it'll change based on updates. We don't really know. It could even move around the map throughout the game. It could be walking around and you have to get on top of it to get its loot. Again, I'm super excited to see how this plays out. I think that's a really, really cool concept. I like things that change throughout every single game, so even within a game, it feels different. I know this isn't the same as like NPCs that spawn around the map, but even like the marauders, as annoying as they were, follow me here, the marauders that used to spawn during early chapter 2 and you could take them down and get their loot, I thought it was very, very cool that if you have, a bad drop, or maybe you get pushed out of your POI with bad loot but you don't go down in competitive, there is something you can aim for or gun towards that's different every game to kind of get your foot back in the game. If this POI is moving around the map, I think it could be really cool for competitive. It could change up how rotates work. It could really make things feel less stale. If all of a sudden, this is over near a POI that has like Peterbot in it, are you gonna get W keyed? Is it gonna be a game where you have to play more aggressive? Is it gonna be maybe spawn in a really far away area so you have to loot quickly and rotate? It's gonna really test the player's ability to adapt. And I know a lot of people hate when you use the word adapt, but I think this could be adapting in a cool way. I'm very excited to see how they play this out. I just hope it doesn't turn into Train 2.0. Just so much potential, could be so awesome, and just completely wasted. The train was the idea where it was kind of loot that moved around the map. It was different every single game, but it just didn't feel worth it and it felt really boring. Please, Epic, do not mess up the giant turtle like you messed up the train. Another leaker, Wensoing, gave us a little bit of an idea of what the map is going to look like with the addition of shrines. It looks like there's going to be different shrines around the map, and there's different creatures now that are like cat-like sprites that you're then going to be able to find around the map, take them to the shrine, and I guess you might be rewarded in some sense. We have had this concept of taking an item somewhere and getting something in the past. During Primal Season, Chapter 2, Season 6, if you guys are OG enough to remember, you had to go get like the orb thing from somewhere on the map and then take it to the Spire Tower in the middle. Super awesome, really risky and really hard to do. When you got there, you thought you were going to get the craziest item in the world, and you just got the crappy jump boots, which really sucked, so it made the whole concept pointless. But if Fortnite does something with these and you get an actually good item, you know, you get some crazy meds or you get a really cool weapon, it would be fun to see this as a mechanic. Again, it gives you something else to do during that early to mid game. Right now, you just drop the hottest POI or you drop safe, you rotate around the map, and every game is very, you know, formulaic. It kind of plays out the same way. You usually run into people in the same sort of areas. This kind of idea that we're going to have, you know, biomes on the map that are going to be changing. We're going to have a turtle moving around the map. We're going to have these, you know, cat-like spirits that we have to take to certain places. It's just other things to do to make every game of Fortnite feel slightly different, and it has me super excited. Now, let's talk about one of the major leaks. This is coming from Sheena. This is kind of 2 leaks in one. So the leak has already revealed there's going to be some kind of Oni masks around the map, whether they're like mythic masks that you get off certain bosses. They're going to have certain abilities. They're going to do certain things. So Sheena's tweeted out saying that Chapter 6 element teaser, wind, fire, water, and void, these could be linked to the previously leaked demon mask for next season. So it looks like we have these kind of mythic masks, or we're guessing they're going to be like mythic items that you're going to get them from areas around the map or bosses, and then they're going to give you different abilities. So it looks like for those of you guys who didn't want mythics in Chapter 6, it looks like they're most likely sticking around. Doesn't mean they're going to be in competitive. They might just be in regular pub matches, but it looks like we are going to get some kind of strong items that are unique to certain bosses or players. This also ties into the fact that we have confirmed we are getting a Demon Slayer collaboration in the new chapter. I don't usually talk too much about collabs. Usually they're just cosmetics, but this Demon Slayer collab looks like it could be more than that. It could have unique items that might make their way into competitive. I am a huge Demon Slayer fan. It's one of my favorite animes, so I'm really excited to see this collaboration. And I hope if they do it, they are going to incorporate some kind of items or abilities that are linked to Demon Slayer. But we are at least going to get some kind of mythics with these new Oni masks. As far as weapon leaks goes, we don't really have much to go off. We have that assault rifle I just talked about in that teaser. We also have Hypex and other leakers talking about a massive Mune blade. I probably butchered that, which is going to be some kind of melee item like I already talked about. But outside of that, we don't really have much to go off. I know one of the main things people are looking for is, are we going to have hit scan weapons or are we going to have bullet travel time weapons? If you don't know what hit scan is, it's very simple. If you think of how a sniper works throughout all of Fortnite, you shoot it and the bullet takes time to travel to the target and then it hits. That is not hit scan. Hit scan weapons are like the assault rifles we have right now in OG, where you shoot a target, it doesn't matter how far away it is, the bullet instantly hits the target. A lot of players are divided whether they want hit scan like we currently have in OG, or going back to bullet travel time like we had for the rest of the chapter. I don't really know where I stand on this debate. I see pros and cons. I think for controller players, having hit scan helps a lot because you can have aim assist be buffed, and because the bullet doesn't have to travel, you can have the aim assist help you a bit more lock onto the target even at range. But if you have bullet travel time, you can't do that. If you're locking onto the target and you shoot, the bullet's going to go behind them at range. And again, I'm a big competitive fan, and I know controller players are really struggling in competitive because of long range aim assist. So if we go back to bullet travel time weapons, that's going to be really tough for an entire chapter for controller players. However, I do understand that bullet travel time is also extremely skillful. Bloom, as we've just gone back to it, a lot of people are frustrated. Your cursor is directly on a player, you hold down your shots, and even though you're on them, your bullets don't hit. Where with bullet travel time, if you can learn the distance to lead by, you will hit more shots, meaning that aim is more skillful. It's not just about Bloom and getting lucky. Now, I know there is also an element of skill to hit scan aim as well. That's why I'm not really decided. I don't think I'll have the chapter be made or ruined off hit scan or not hit scan, but there's a lot of people out there who will be very sad if it goes one way or the other. And sadly, based on leaks, I have nothing to give you. I don't know which way it's gonna go. Now, the big one. Anytime there's a new chapter, there's always new mechanics. And some of these have been fantastic, like sprinting, sliding. Some of them have upset some people, like hurdling and sometimes mantling. The 2 new mechanics we're getting in Chapter 6, according to leakers, is the ability to prone, to lay down, and a new swinging mechanic. Now, let's start with the prone one. This concerns me quite a lot. As an OG PUBG player myself, another battle royale, anytime you have a battle royale with a third-person camera, so you're not looking through the eyes of the player, and you have the ability to lay down, it gets really cheesy. You can just lay in safe spots and watch everyone wait till someone comes past, stand up and shoot them, and there's not really much they can do. Now, I've always been scared of mechanics in Fortnite. I thought sprinting, mantling, sliding, I thought all of these things could be terrible for the game, and I was happily proven wrong. So I'm gonna have faith in Epic that they do this one well. I don't see how it would work at all in a third-person game. I think it'll be too cheesy. I think there'll be a bunch of bugs with it. Hopefully I'm wrong and they absolutely nail it. I have trust they will, but I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't a little bit concerned for prone. Now, the swinging mechanic, this doesn't look that crazy to me because I feel like it's just gonna be like the swinging of, you know, when you have a grapple item, but you can do it in in certain areas around the map. So I imagine it's just like having the Spider-Man gauntlets where you swing and go crazy, but you can only do it in certain areas, kind of like the grind rails. Imagine how you like jump on a grind rail or a vine, or even like where you have the zip lines that take you up and down. There'll be certain areas of the map where I'm guessing you can interact with something, whether it's like, you know, a chandelier or a rope or something, and you can grab onto it and you can swing. Doesn't sound too crazy, could make POIs nice and fun and exciting, probably will be really helpful in no builds to get around, but I'm not too worried about that one. I am more focused on the ability to go prone. I also wanted to clear up what's going on with OG for anyone confused. I see a lot of people thinking that because of the way OG usually works, where the new season is an OG season like this one or the one we had from last chapter in chapter 1, this is an OG game mode. You're going to be able to load in and play OG Fortnite. They're going to have each month dedicated to one of the seasons from chapter 1. We're going to go from chapter 1, season 1, all the way up to 10. And you're going to have OG mechanics like double pump, which just sounds insane. But it's going to be a separate game mode, not the entire game, for anyone who's still confused how that's going to work. Now, I have my concerns. I was actually more excited for this game mode before Fortnite released. There's going to be double pumps. Apparently, I'm alone in this. The amount of likes and attention it's getting on social media, everyone thinks it's going to be great. I'm a little bit concerned. I love double pumping. I was playing chapter 1 during the OG days, and I wish I could go back and re-experience Fortnite for the first time. But with how good people are now, the double pump just sounds way too OP. I'll happily be proven wrong. We'll have to wait and see. It's kind of cool. Fortnite might be playing around with some of these OG mechanics, like maybe they turn off turbo building. It might be to the point where, if you guys don't remember back in early Fortnite, if you tried to build and there was like a tree in the way or something, you physically could not build until you broke the thing in the way. We could go back to some of these old mechanics. I feel like a lot of people will realize there's a reason why those aren't mechanics anymore. They were okay when the game was, you know, really new and fresh and it was fun and everyone sucked and we're all just having a great time. But with how good players are now and how the game's progressed, there's a lot of reasons why these mechanics got taken out. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they're just doing double pump and they won't try to go back to some of the crazier old mechanics like that. But it's going to be interesting to see. I have no idea how this is going to play out. Fortnite has already announced there's going to be tournaments in the OG game mode. They're not going to have a prize money, but they're clearly putting a lot of effort into it. I'm guessing all it shows to me is Fortnite is very confident in how big the player base is going to be for chapter 6. If you think about it, you have the regular game, pubs and ranked, solos, duos, trios, squads, or whatever the game modes are. Then you have zero builds, solos, duos, trios, squads, ranked and no ranked. Now you have the reload game modes with pubs and ranked, solos, duos, squads, and now you're going to have the OG game mode that's apparently going to have pubs and ranked, solos, duos, squads. You see where I'm going with this? That is splitting the player base into a lot of different sections on top of all the creative maps, the Fortnite Festival, the rocket racing, Lego Fortnite. There are so many things to do in Fortnite, and I'm guessing it just shows how confident Epic is in this chapter. There's going to be enough players to fill all of that. I'm from the smallest region, OC, so I feel it the hardest when the player base goes down. You are playing pubs with like 90 other AI, and it's a little bit brutal. I'm trusting Fortnite here. I'm guessing they have a plan for this. I'm hoping this OG game mode is as accessible as Chapter 1 OG was, and a bunch of people come back, bring their friends, and absolutely love it. Fortnite clearly has a very big plan for this, but we are starting to get some leaks and teasers, so if we get any more information, I will make more videos. But right now, all we know is we're going back to Chapter 1, Season 1. It's its own game mode. It's launching on December 6th, and it's going to have double pumping. If you guys are excited for the new season, swing by my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. I'll be watching the Juice WRLD event and live during the whole downtime, looking at all the new leaks and getting you guys excited for what I think is going to be an amazing chapter.